Yes. Hello and welcome to Berlin Robotics Podcast number 17. Today I'm talking to Herbert Herbert tenhave,
Yes.
who is the CEO of Fizyr. The company started at TU Delft in 2014 and won the Amazon Picking Challenge in 2016. First off, nice to have you with us. Talk me through the process of starting a company within the university. And from a business point of view, tell me, how did you start? What happened until the picking challenge and what happened after? Because you pivoted from a hardware point of view to a software point of view.
Yes.
So who are you? Who's Fizyr? And what are you guys doing?
Okay. My name is Herbert tenhave. I did not raise the company. I did not found it. It was founded by a professor, Martijn Wisse, a robotics professor, and with the academic view of the world, trying to automate processes in the small and medium businesses. And with that idea, he brought about 8 brilliant students together, or ex-students, so kind of unicorns in their field, and they had them working on challenges of clients. But it was not really, they did brilliant work. They're like picking unknown items, and they were extremely good, but there was no business plan. So they ended up doing work for projects and clients under not so good conditions, and they were very challenging. And so up till then, they were sort of struggling till they participated in the Amazon Picking Challenge. And to their surprise, they were better than anybody else. So that made them realize we do something specific. We have certain knowledge. And then I joined the team in January 2017, so 3.5 years ago. And within a month, we pivoted. So we stopped doing robotics, and we only wanted to be a software company, a computer vision company.
So when you started at the university, what was the first type of company that you were before the picking challenge? Like, what did you guys do? What was the main goal of that company?
Okay, that's integrating robotics in small and medium enterprise companies.
Okay. Yeah. And during that integration process, first off, why are there a bunch of students who see, like they see a challenge, they see, maybe they see a niche. What was their purpose of opening up that company?
So it was the professor who opened up the company together with an entrepreneur, and they were all ex-students, so they all graduated at masters at Delft University with different disciplines. But they had the professor had an academic view of the world that everything could be automated with robots. And the reality, certainly when you deal with, let's say, plants, vegetables, or parcels, it's really hard. Logistics, where we're right in, it's really hard. There is always damage, there is always dirt, there's always different lighting conditions. Gripping something is different, so there is a harsh reality compared to the academic view of the world.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the ivory tower. What did you guys realize you would have it? Like, why did you go to do the Amazon Picking Challenge?
To be honest, I don't know what the reason was for doing it, but I know that very quickly within the team of my team, they realized they had to apply deep learning, and that made the big difference. Because before that, they were trying to do it heuristically, so based on rules, trying to grasp something. But because it's all unknown items, so it's really hard to deal with them, certainly in the closet of Amazon. The decision of applying deep learning, a neural network, was the key changer that made them stick out.
Okay, so how long did it take them to realize that they had a real shot at this competition?
I don't know. That's again several years ago.
No, yeah.
Things move on very quickly. So that was that stage. So it's now actually 4 years ago after the summer, and technology really increases rapidly. So it's something we've done in the past.
Yeah. Well, maybe then start like, when did you get into the company and for what reasons?
I met them when they were participating in a sort of exhibition in Tel Aviv, in Israel. And I met the team, and then I got involved. I offered my help. I'm a mentor at small startups at Yes Delft. There's also a lot of spin-offs from the university. I've been doing that for 4 years now. And so I met the company, my colleagues, and I offered my help. That's it. And then at some point they said, we don't want your help as consultant or as a mentor. We like you to have as colleague. And that's how I started.
Okay, so did you help to raise the funding in January 2020?
Yes, of course. But I also put in my own money in the last 3 years. So
Okay.
so I invest a lot of time and money personally.
Yeah. The reason why we're talking is that this picking challenge is hard. And what is, I mean, winning the Amazon challenge is a great accomplishment. What is your value proposition? Like, why are you better than other companies? That there's other companies that do picking, like even there's even suppliers who supply their own picking robots. There's companies that have software to integrate with other robots to do the picking, but you can also like you can also tell the robot what to do. Mm-hmm. What's the difference? Like, what are you doing better, and what's the difference with Fizyr?
Okay, so the key thing is to understand the difference in items to be picked. If you are picking known items where you have the 3D design, you can apply heuristics. So a lot of companies do that. So they call it in Germany Griffene Kiste. So you are looking for items you already know. You know how they look like, and you just are randomly in bulk. They are in a bin, and you have to pick them. So very well known is the car industry. So you just need a bulb or whatever, and you're looking for it, and so you can pick them. That's really easy. That has been there for 15 years or so. The key thing is when the items or objects you're trying to grasp vary in shape, in size, in color, in material, or how they are stacked, or any combination, like unknown items, then you have a problem because the robot will have not seen it before. So take a bag. If you drop a bag like a luggage or for on the airport baggage, if you drop it 1,000 times, then the camera will see 1,000 different bags, but it's exactly the same bag. So we as humans are very good in generalizing, so we can see it's a bag. So we even a kid of 2-year-old can sort of classify and see it's a box, is a bag, and that's how I can grasp it. So what we've done, we've trained a neural network to generalize like a human being, to classify it as a type of object and to find the grasp poses, how to simulate it from bulk. And so coming back to your question, we are highly specialized in applying deep learning for unknown items and parcels. And within that, we are really focused on logistics, and we only do the software, so the eye-hand coordination. We are let's say the silicon brain of a robot. We make the camera smart and tell the robot where to grasp. And so we don't deal with integration with grippers and other stuff. Of course, we have a lot of knowledge, but we leave all the hardware up to our system integrators, and we only do the brain, the most important part, how to translate the image into grasping locations.
And now something that I'm really interested in. What's your distribution model? Like, how do you distribute your software?
Okay. So we are providing, like you could have self-driving cars, and so we would then provide the software towards Audi, Mercedes, BMW, Volkswagen, whatever brand you have. So we will just do the software. So our model is that we first help our clients, our system integrators, integrate our software, and then to create the picking cell, and then they will distribute it everywhere around the world, and then you will have production license, like you have cars, they run around. So we help them enabling our software, putting it in their picking cell, and then they can install it as many times as they want.
The reason I'm asking is that this business is very like an integrated business, and usually companies sell a whole suite of software and hardware all together. That's why I'm asking. It's a different type of approach if you come from a software side and you can distribute it to VARs, like to a value-added reseller or to a systems integrator. And I think that is the next goal that most of us should have. Like even I think in software that's called like data SaaS, when you can integrate SaaS software between other software that's already, like for instance, you have a SAP ERP and you integrate like a timer into the software platform, and basically this is what should happen for the robotic industry too. But for that to happen, some people have to open up their software and have to have like better documentation. And I think that's the first step towards a better robotic community. Is that what you're like working on?
We made our product really an easy to use off-the-shelf product. So we did not make it complex. So we have now got, I think, 14 clients. So we learned a lot from each client when they had questions and remarks or whatever, and we gave them support. So at the end, we made a standard product, easy to install and to pick in principle any items it see, like a human being. Of course, we can then train it better and then get a higher performance. But at the end, it's just a standard software package they can install and run it in a robot to pick those unknown items.
Okay, so what type of robots or what type is it? Every type of robot company that they can use the software with?
Actually, it doesn't even need to be a robot. So we are hardware agnostic on the camera. So we work with different cameras. Secondly, we are hardware agnostic on the computer it runs on, like just a Linux computer with a GPU, as well as the robot. It can be any robot. And it can also, it doesn't need to be a robot. It can sometimes, it can just be moving something aside. So recognizing something, classifying it, and then pushing it away. So it doesn't need a robot. And sometimes we do also just computer vision work. So our algorithm is able to segment the items to see where one ends and the next one starts, as well as classifying it. And so we can see anomalies, so we can take them out. And so sometimes it's just as a warning. So they don't need a robot to use our software. It could just provide the information they are looking for.
How open are your clients towards your software? Like open in terms of we'd rather do it ourselves, or we rather take you as like because it's like software from a third party is always there's always an issue, right? But especially in a world like the robotics industry, how are you approaching those companies, or how are they reacting to you?
Every client of us had tried themselves and will probably keep trying it themselves, all of them. And they should always challenge us and to see if they can do it themselves, if they can do it better, etc. So we like that. So this is the environment we are in, as well as we have competitors. We will always be challenged. And if we believe we are the number one in the world, we will always be challenged by our clients, by competitors, etc. So they've done work. So where we mostly come in is where they've already developed the system, but let's say we have to pick parcels and they come up with 80% of the parcels, maybe 85, maybe even 90% of the parcels. But if you have to pick one of each 10 parcels with a human being, you have not automated it. It's like having a washing machine and you have to restart it every 3 minutes. That's not a washing machine. That's not automated. So we developed an algorithm that's very, very close to 100%. And what it means is that when a client comes to us, we ask them, tell me your last 15%. Show me those images. We run it directly in our network. And so the network produces all the information they're looking for, and that's for them very convincing, because we took the part that they've been struggling with for years, and then we solve it. So one element, and the second is we really productized it, so we made it easy for them to install, to maintain, to update. We guarantee everything with software and maintenance contracts up till escrow, and so we made it. Actually, it's like Google Maps. Everybody's using Google Maps because, yeah, everybody knows it's a very good service and it's up to date, etc. So we want to be the Google Maps of robotics for picking those unknown items.
Yeah, I like the idea. So your software learns with every new customer you have?
That's another question. Yes, so no. First of all, the system will work out of the box. So if you install our software, it will just grasp the majority of items without any problem. We will train extra for the camera. We will train extra for the type of parcels, the lighting, the conditions, etc. It will improve. It will improve. So your question was, do you need to will you train extra? There is no need, but we are able to do this. So we store all images, and we can, if we want to, learn further. But in most cases, there's no need to do this. It's already performing excellent. Well, excellent. At least better than they were hoping or expecting. So there is no need for continuous learning. We can do it on some aspects, but up till now, hardly ever happens.
Okay. Is there a particular type of niche that approaches you, or is it like all over the map? Are there like any company who has any problem?
No. So when I started in 2017, we did all kinds of flowers, vegetables, seeds, detecting cow tits, detecting eggs, and all that sort of stuff. But during that year, it became obvious we should focus on logistics. So we really focus on logistics, being item picking, order picking, so in e-fulfillment, including apparel and stuff. Parcel handling, like UPS, DHL, Federal Express, Deutsche Post, unknown parcels, could be even from a conveyor. So we pick from a moving conveyor. But it includes also depalletizing, which is also boxes and bags, or truck unloading, which we also do. And since 3/4 of a year, we moved also in luggage for airports.
Yeah, that's very broad, I think.
Yes and no. It's all logistics, and it's in most part of it. It's all boxes and bags. So and so for the neural network, it doesn't matter that much. So we trained it to cope with that, and we find all kinds of classifiers that are important in the relevant businesses. So we know how to grasp it.
Okay. And now, like a question that's dear to my heart is, when you came in to this industry, did you have any prior knowledge to what robotics looks like?
No.
That's always good.
I've got a technical background, so I know, of course, I know some stuff, but no, I relied on my team, and the most thing, what I added to it, and I got the clients to come to us to talk to the team, and we got our team always towards clients to talk to their problems, and we had no money. So we were bootstrapped, so we had to send invoices at the end of the month. So that really gave me a very sharp focus on how can I solve a problem, and that the client is willing to pay. And by just having this focus, we grew the business from at the beginning 6 people to now 18 people with our own money. So based on solving problems in the industry. So we did not have the luxury of having a lot of robots and all that stuff. We just focus on what's the problem, how to best solve it, and how to get paid for it. Simple.
And when you look at the reason I'm asking is, when you look at the industry with no prior knowledge, and you look at marketing and you look at what's happening in this real world, did you see a big disconnect between marketing and what's happening now?
How do you mean disconnect?
when I look at my LinkedIn feed, for instance, I see a lot of marketing that's geared towards a specific niche and works only in a very laborious, I don't know,
sure.
Works only like when you promise something to a customer or you promise something to someone who has no prior knowledge, and then all of a sudden in this industry he's faced with the real robotics world. There's sometimes like this, oh, a bummer. I thought I was like more intelligent or more flexible or more autonomous. Where do you like to see this industry the next 5 years, based on what you know now?
Whoa, that's a big question.
I know, but this question is like, yeah.
Let me then just first recap what you're saying. I do agree. Yes, there is a big difference in promotion movies. They show certain stuff and the reality in the business. That's why we've been very proud. We've been at Hannover Messe and Automatica. And then we had an open picking cell. So a Yaskawa open picking cell, and we challenged everybody to put in unknown items in the picking cell in really harsh conditions. So we have some videos of that, and people were really astonished, because if you know how hard it is for a robot to recognize black on black, white on white, or high reflective items, or transparent items, or stacked in a certain way vertically, etc. So that's the proof of the pudding. So I like, in this case, if you see marketing material of let's say competitors, then I always look what they don't show and what sort of conditions they created. So that's the first part. Secondly, so there are 3 challenges in picking in logistics. One is the computer vision part, which consists of the camera, a proper camera in the right position, as well as our software. We have to know what it is and how to grasp it. So that's the first challenge. Second challenge is you need to have an end effector, a gripper, that can cope with the variation of the items to be picked. And that's hard because we mostly focus on suction. We do some pinch gripping, but a certain percentage of the items you cannot pick with suction. You need pinch gripper, grasping, another method for picking it. So that's a challenge. And the third one is the integration. So you need to know, how do I move in? How do I move out? How fast can I accelerate or decelerate? How do I put it away? Information with the warehouse management system, safety of people, all that stuff. So that's all the integration, etc. But we are really focused on the first part, is to how can computer vision solve the puzzle in dealing with unknown known items. And I can say we're quite proud of our partners, and they are going fast. And I would say in the coming months and also years, of course, see many more installations. But if you're focusing on just to replace human being, this, I would say, not the best focus. Ideally, you look at how can a robot work best in that environment, because robots have limitations, like I mentioned with the gripper. So often to solve a picking problem is also to look into the organization. So if you do order picking, you know which products will be picked by this robot. So you can already take out the items like the teddy bear that will be hard for the robot to pick. So let humans do this. And you should never try to automate something that the robot will in all cases pick it, because it can be damaged as well. So it's better to focus on how can I detect when the robot has a problem or a challenge, and how can we signal it and stop it, and then have a human intervening.
The last part is based on the niche that you see a robot in, correct? Like in the next 5 years. And there's another part that you mentioned, but it's more between the lines. All these different items that you meant, like the gripper, the camera, the software, those are all exchangeable like parts of this whole process, right? Right now, they're coming like software is coming from you, and then the whole robot's coming from someone else. I think you can interchange cameras. I think you're independent from a camera. Is that correct?
Yeah, you're hardware agnostic.
Hardware agnostic, correct. How much modularization do you see for not just gripping, but for the whole picking process? Like, what could be modularized even more?
Whoa.
I know those questions. That's more like looking into the future.
Yeah, but we now work with the best cameras available, and at some point they work fine. But at some point, if there are many installations for item picking, or many installations for parcel handling, or for, let's say, apparel, clothing in polybags, then I can imagine it makes sense to create a camera that is just okay for doing that application. And then they can make it cheaper also because there is a higher volume. So I would say that there will be more affordable cameras out there in the next years, and sometimes even with our software on it. So you have an PGU, so it's a camera with onboard a graphics card, processing unit, and with our software on it. So you just buy the camera, including our software, to do parcel picking, item picking, or apparel picking, or etc.
Okay. That would be a large. Like, how do you if you do this, like if you work together with a systems integrator, how do you maintain the quality of the software?
Well, now first of all, we are very keen and proud of our quality. We make a lot of things open source, so we have a huge community using our tools. We're quite proud of that, and that enables us to provide that quality and also the guarantee to our clients. What the quality of software is, it's also in the interfacing, in the support we can give, the updates up to escrow, we can guarantee all that stuff. But it's also in how many picks does it take, how many failures does it make? Let's say in a million, is it 3 or 5, etc. So in order to understand that, you have to measure it and then to see what went wrong, and we again store all those images so we can look back and to see, can we improve it? Could vision prevented it, and how to improve it? But that's really the partnership we have with our partners, our clients, because they install it at the end users.
Yeah, I think my question was I asked you the wrong question. My question was actually, how do you make sure that your partner, like your value-added reseller or integrator, uses your software the right way? Actually, that's basically what I meant.
Okay. Yeah, of course they tell us what they're aiming at and what they're trying to solve. So we have all the interest as them to make them successful. So we put a lot of effort and time into that relation to make sure that he gets a maximum out of our software, as well as we learn from their questions and their requests that they have from their clients. So we are very well. We're working closely with them because together we have to solve it.
Yeah. There's a particular, some companies that when I talk to systems integrators and they work with larger entities who do not open up their software, it's usually like a guessing game when you use their API. And I think that's the wrong way to approach it, because those companies should open up their software and they should have like proper documentation. And sometimes they the only thing they open up is their hands and ask, okay, so you're not under a specific type of contract. You have to pay $120 more for an hour to get this type of documentation. I think that's just wrong. That's what it is. That's why I was asking, how do you make sure that people use your API the right way? And also like keep your quality up, right? If they do a mistake, then they blame it on you.
Again, I'm really proud of my team. I'm far from involved in that, so I can take no credits for that at all. It's really my team. So they are contributing to the open source community for years. they're very strict on applying code and how to maintain it, etc. So yeah, as far as I've been told and the feedback I got from clients, we have a very good procedures of dealing with that. And we've got, of course, documentation, and we have all our T's and C's and support and maintenance contracts up till escrow. We've got it quite nicely set up for our clients. So
yeah, that sounds good. And in my last question now, what are you planning on doing with the funding that you received in January? What are the next steps for Fizyr?
Now, like I told you, up till then we had no funding, so we had to be really careful every month with our spendings and also with expanding the team. So since January, we can have a more wider scope to the future, hire more people, and take a little bit more risk, and also do more research. So it has already resulted in 5 extra people. We're still hiring. Every month now is a new person. So it will enable us to grow faster. That's the key thing, and then to make better decisions, to invest more. And up till last year, we could not take many more clients on board because we were limited in the team. And so with this investment, it gives us more freedom. And also they are smart. They have a lot of knowledge and experience in running software and also AI companies. So they are a very good partner with us to have discussions on how to improve the business, how to grow the business, etc.
Nice, thank you. That's it for today. Thank you very much, Herbert. Thank you for being on the show. And I hope Fizyr is growing and we can talk maybe in half a year again and see what happened.
It would be a pleasure. Thank you very much.